Denver.
Yeah.
This is a very bizarre team this year.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I got a feeling that they are going to be awful.
Oh, okay. I think I'm the opposite.
I got them pegged for like maybe 4 wins.
Last year, DVOA, they were the 24th ranked team overall. They were 19th offensively. So Russell Wilson, not as bad as you might have thought, but defensively, holy shit, they were the 30th ranked team.
The amount of frustration that you saw every single game from their sidelines, that team stunk.
Yeah.
I don't even care what the numbers were. The team stunk.
All
like, as a
Sean
team,
Payton, Russell Wilson, just hating each other, hating life.
Just as a team, they stunk.
Yeah.
Collectively.
Yeah. How could it be worse, though, than the last year?
I don't know, but I think we're about to find out.
So if you remember, okay, couple of the notable games from last season for the Denver Broncos, you might remember the week 2 game against the Miami Dolphins where they got absolutely blown out of the water 70-20. And it would have been the highest all-time scoring record, but Mike McDaniel did show them some mercy. They were 1-5 to start the first 6 games. And then they went on a bit of a heater. They won the next 5 games in a row. They beat Kansas City. They beat Green Bay. They beat Buffalo. They beat the Cleveland Browns.
They all those games seemed so suspicious.
They seemed so suspicious. The Texans as well, but Russell Wilson threw a interception on the final play of the game as well. So they lost their week 1 game to the Commanders 35-33. Their defense was so bad, but they did actually make a few really good adjustments. They started playing some really ugly games after that Miami game. So they beat the Packers 19-17. That's ugly as fuck. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Chiefs 24-9, but 2 weeks earlier they lost the Chiefs 19-8. So they were just slogging out these ugly games.
Yeah, that sucked. It sucked.
The Chargers 24-7. They got spanked by the Lions, but and then they finished the season. They lost to the Raiders 27-14, which I think that was by the time that rolled around, Russell Wilson was basically done.
Yep, that is true. I am excited about the running back room here. This is what I'm pulling up right now.
Okay, tell me more about it. So it's Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine. They drafted Aldrick Estimé, and then
the Estimé, but they have Jaleel McLaughlin.
Okay, so tell me about Jaleel McLaughlin.
Let me tell you about Jaleel McLaughlin.
He was quite good to bet last year, if you remember.
Yeah, he was. And Sean Payton just had some hard eyes for him.
Yep. Yeah.
The film doesn't lie with him. He was the best performing running back on that team.
Right.
I mean, Javonte looked good. They all did. He was
just still coming off that injury. You can tell. It's always the thing is, and we said this about Tony Pollard, it's always the year after the year. The year coming back from injury, they're usually pretty bad, but the next year they're usually fantastic again.
Yeah, and they're going to lean on that group pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I can't see this season, at least for the first half of the season, I can't see Sean Payton just putting the ball into Bo Nix's hands and just letting him sling it.
They're going to start week 1.
I think so.
Potentially. I don't know, man. So the quarterback room for the Denver Broncos, they drafted Bo Nix with the 12th pick in the NFL draft. According to this, Jarrett Stidham is the backup quarterback, and then lock up your moms because Zach Wilson had been traded to the Denver Broncos as well.
Zach Wilson would go in, I think, if Bo Nix.
So do I. I think Zach Wilson's a better quarterback than Jarrett Stidham.
Me too. Yeah, that's rough. But actually, to be honest with you, he's a better quarterback than I think all of us have seen.
Yeah,
he has a future. He has a future.
Yeah,
I think.
Maybe in the CFL.
Don't knock football.
He's right.
Yeah, I think the ball might be too big for his hands. For those of you that don't know, Canadian football has a bigger football.
Oh,
yeah, larger football. It's very tough to throw.
I like Aldrick Estimé pick as well.
Yeah, this just isn't his year unless there's an injury. I think.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Sean Payton's going to lean on him though. Think about the Sean Payton running back rooms from years gone past, like the Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram tandem they had. Even when they were injured, it was like Tony Jones and trying to think who was the tip of my tongue guy from a few years back. Nah, I can't think of it right now. It'll come to me though. Like he loves having those two physical, fierce running backs at all times.
Yep. And you could cycle them through and never let them get tired. However, I like the short yardage completions this year for Denver.
Right.
Ball security, I think, is going to be the biggest thing for them. You know what? So Jaleel McLaughlin is at basically 100 receiving yards here.
100. Fourth on the depth chart.
No, don't even listen to that.
No, but like you think, like Sean Payton loves Samaje Perine last year in the passing game.
You know what? I'm gonna go.
He was cashing a few tickets for me last year, Samaje Perine.
I'm gonna go here and I'm going to pull up on Sleeper. I just want to go see his previous performances.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I'll just give a quick shout out to the receiving group here. So it's Courtland Sutton is receiver 1 for them. They moved on from Jerry Jeudy, just did not work out for them. They traded him to the Cleveland Browns for absolutely nothing. They brought in Josh Reynolds from the Lions. Marvin Mims will be in his second year, and they drafted Troy Franklin. And I actually quite like this pairing of Troy Franklin back with Bo Nix. I think that they could be quite good together. And Tim Patrick. Do not sleep on Tim Patrick. He's been a long-time Denver Bronco, and everyone loves him. Every coach who ever works with him says they love him.
He was, a lot of people had him as a breakout last year.
Yeah, but he's had 2 season-ending injuries last 2 years.
Okay, I'm not done with Jaleel.
Okay,
so we're gonna go to the yards per carry to start. So multiple times. So this is throughout this season.
Yep.
He had one game at 10.29 yards per carry. The next game was 7.56 yards per carry.
Oh, he was a rookie last year. I did not realize that.
The game after that was 4.29 yards per carry. The game after that was 9 yards per carry. The game after that was 8.25 yards per carry.
Yeah, but context.
Then he had 3 games, which they basically scored 0 points and was barely used. And it was 1.33, 1, 2. And then the back end of the season, 5, 6.17, 5.5.
I'm looking at that. And you know what? That's on 8 carries as well, 6 carries. So
this is what I'm saying.
That's actually so you take that 9 yards a carry was on 5 carries, 45 yards. Not bad.
You take sample size, and it's the same thing. So like the receiving, it's the same thing. You go ahead and you look. It's like the yards per completion. It's good. They're all over. Like as a running back, you look at kind of like 6 being the staple, 6.5. And you look at the sample size, and he's clearing that across the board.
60 receiving yards last year on 31 catches, 36 targets. He only dropped 5 balls. That's awesome.
Right. This is what I'm saying is this guy is a stud, and the film doesn't lie. And I'm telling you, John, I'm telling you, Jaleel McLaughlin gets the chance this year. Second year breakout. They're gonna lean on him quite a bit. And just like I said, I think it's ball security, sure hands, guys who can catch, guys who can turn yards in carries, touches into yards. And if you go just based off statistics, he is the best running back on their team.
Oh, get out of here.
He is.
I don't want to hear that.
So I'm making this bold claim. I'm making this bold claim here that Jaleel McLaughlin will finish with the best yards per carry and the best yards per completion, yards per catch out of all of the running backs. He's going to finish top in both.
But that doesn't make him the best running back on the roster.
Okay. Well, I don't know what would make you the best then.
Production.
That's the definition of production.
No, the production is getting the ball. And then, because you can't really compare that with Javonte Williams. He's going to run the ball
they force-fed him the ball. So this is the thing. What I'm saying is Jaleel wasn't force-fed. And when you're not even into a rhythm in a game, you got to take that into consideration. Like, you can't just look at the stat number. You got to think about the scenario.
Yeah.
When you're only getting 1-2 carries a half sometimes, and you're taking it 8-9 yards. Like, that's incredible.
You know what I do like about this take, though? So Jaleel McLaughlin, he is 5'7", 187 pounds. He's small little running back. But is that not the same as Bucky Irving at Oregon, which is who Bo Nix had running the ball well?
Yeah.
There's a nice correlation here. So Bo Nix is going to have his Bucky Irving in the backfield if it's Jaleel McLaughlin. He's going to have Troy Franklin burning, and then he's going to have an alpha in Courtland Sutton. So there's a world here. And think about like Bo Nix last year in college. He had the lowest ADOT, average depth of target. He was basically throwing the ball to the line of scrimmage, and then just players were exploding from there, like Bucky Irving. So I am kind of into this narrative. I'm into it a little bit.
Do you see what I'm saying? And when you think about Sean Payton and you think about the errors and everything that Denver had last season, how you're going to try and course correct that, it is exactly what Bo Nix does well, which, like I said, there's no lies here. Like, that is, to me, this feels like the narrative for the Denver Broncos. It's going to be established movement and yards after catch, not a lot of deep shots. I think like safe. Protect the ball, start at the fundamentals of football, and grow this guy's career properly.
Yeah.
It bodes well for Jaleel McLaughlin. Like, it really does.
I'm going to run through the defense. Can you give me the season yards on Bo Nix passing and Troy Franklin receiving?
What they're predicting?
Yeah, and even potentially Courtland Sutton as well. The tight end group, I know I just said defense, but the tight end group, Adam Troutman, one of Sean Payton's favorites, brought over from the Saints. Lucas Kroll is the tight end 2 on the depth chart, and then Greg Dulcich, tight end 3. So,
who I think will have a comeback season.
Okay.
Whatever, man.
We'll see. You only say that because of our trade. Who did I get from you for Dulcich? I can't remember.
Can't remember.
It would have been a pick, I'm sure.
TE is a tough market, you got to kind of take a shot on some of them, and that's one that I'm still willing to take a shot on this year. I think people will be surprised once again. Short, I think, completions. That's what I'm looking at, and whatever the projections are, I don't see any because I don't think they have them.
They haven't sat it out.
I don't think so. So passing yards, so they have him as the starter, but I'm trying to.
They probably haven't done rookies, I imagine.
Nope, they have him here. So his passing yards are 2,850.
Ooh.
His passing touchdowns are 17.5. And if we go to receiving yards for what'd you say, Troy Franklin?
Troy Franklin.
I don't know if they're going to have these up.
2,800. Gee, I'd be tempted to bet the under on that.
The under.
Yeah. Because rookies typically just do not, like, very rarely get over 3,000 passing yards. The only rookies to really do it is like CJ Stroud, Baker Mayfield, and Justin Herbert, I'm pretty sure.
If the completions were 4,000, I would take it. Like, I think they're just good. So Courtland Sutton's expected for 800.
800. Gee, that's a good number.
It is, but just one of those things where Courtland Sutton, maybe it's just this. Like, I've never truly believed in Courtland Sutton as a number 1 receiver. And I don't think it's out of this world to say that you bring in Bo Nix, he establishes a trust with another one of the younger wide receivers. And starts leaning on him. And neither of them have seasons that they make 800.
Yeah. Like, so here's why I like under 2,800 for Bo Nix, 2,850. So, or here's my only concern, actually, I should say, is it's going to depend on how this defense goes again. So if we look at the defensive line, it's Zach Allen, it's John Franklin Myers, who they've brought over from the Jets, Baron Browning, like, not really too sure about him. Their linebackers, Cody Barton is number 1 on the depth chart linebacker. He was like a practice squad guy for the Seattle Seahawks. Alex Singleton, they brought over from Philly. We'll see. Levi Wallace, they brought over from Pittsburgh at corner. He's not, I think his best days are past him. They really survived last year off of Jaquan McMillan was their rookie they drafted. I think he was an undrafted free agent, or maybe it was like a 7th-round pick, and he exploded. He had a really, really good season. And him alongside Patrick Surtain at corner, I do like those two. But the defense has got holes fucking all over the place.
Man. Oh, all over the place. I think they're gonna get destroyed this year.
Yeah, and their draft was bad. They had a bad draft. Like Bo Nix at pick 12. Okay, they needed a quarterback. Sure, I get it. It's still not a great pick.
It's not a bad pick. It's not. It's really bad.
Then they had to go to the 3rd round. They didn't have another pick until pick 76, and they took Jonah Ellis as well. So at linebacker, round 4 they took Troy Franklin. He was the first pick of day 3. And then in the 5th round, they took Aldrick Estimé, which I like that. Don't mind that. And then there's just a bunch of guys. So 5.5 wins. Win total.
Okay, so the narrative that I'm sticking with that I truly believe will happen with Denver. Now couple that with all the holes that they have in the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you take a team that is going to be hard pressed to push the ball down the field.
Yeah.
That is going to be so focused on, I think, developing along this quarterback and just ensuring that they have good possession of the ball. Yep. Possession means eating the clock. Right. It means wearing down the time, low scoring games. Now, if the offense from the other team starts coming out and slinging and finding these holes, and you've got the Kansas City Chiefs twice a year that put up 50 on you.
Yeah.
It's just a recipe for them sucking. Like it really is a recipe for them sucking.
Yeah. And can I also give you another narrative that is what's going through my mind as well is the Broncos suck. They're always playing from behind. They're asking Bo Nix to then go out and win the game. Now, this is a quarterback who basically led all of college last year in completions and also touchdown to interception ratio. So he was very good in that department. But this is the NFL, and you can see a world.
And the passes were short.
Yeah.
They were short.
I see a world where they try and get Bo Nix to go win the games. He doesn't win the games. They bring in Zach Wilson, and they sort of shut him down.
And Zach Wilson does the exact same thing.
Or at least he's like a little bit better, but at least Bo Nix isn't getting scarred in his rookie season and it's upsetting him. Career.
Yeah, I think Sean Payton would rather stand in front of the media and say, what are we going to do? Yeah. What do you want us to do? You want Bo to throw this thing? You want him to compete with Patrick Mahomes? Yeah. Like our defense has to make some stops.
Yeah.
And this is what I kind of just picture in my head with every press conference from the back half of the season. It's going to be our defense has to make stops.
Yeah.
We have to be better. We can't depend on Bo. All of you are out here today harping on Bo. This is not Bo's fault. He's doing everything. He's doing everything Payton, we're asking him to do.
Other people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. He's doing everything that we're saying that he needs to do, and he's doing it at an elite level. But our defense, that's how I see this season going.
So
correct me if I'm wrong.
Where are the wins coming from? So 5.5 is the line. So they come out
under.
They come out week 1. They're going to Seattle. They're +5 point underdogs.
Yeah.
Then they play the Steelers. They play the Bucks. They play the Jets. That's their first 4 games.
Loss.
Could potentially beat the Bucks.
Maybe. Baker Mayfield coming out just
Vegas and the Chargers. So you think Vegas is going to be good? I think they're going to be bad. I think the Chargers.
No, I don't think they're going to be
the worst team in the league.
I don't think they're going to be good. I don't think Vegas is going to be good. I think they're going to be better than a lot of people think they're going to be. But
yeah,
that's a winnable game.
Yeah, man, I'm only seeing like 3 wins here.
That's what I'm saying. That's maybe.
They have to play the Panthers. They have to play. I say the Panthers. I mean the Panthers defense. They have to play the Ravens, the Chiefs, of course. Mm-hmm. They play the Browns, who I think are going to be good. They play the Bengals, the Steelers. There's just losses all over the shop here. And that
Worst
team against the Jets, that's going to be that. Remember when it was that? I know they played last year and talked about it back then, but the coaching stuff when Sean Payton said that it was the worst coaching job he'd ever seen by freaking what's the Jets?
Saleh?
No, offensive coordinator. Hang on, the guy who has lived off Aaron Rodgers. Bloody
Hackett?
Yeah, Nate Hackett.
Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett. Yeah.
And then they play each other again. So yeah.
Worst team in the league this
under
year.
5.5 for me.
Under 5.5.
Which is a shame because this division.
Lucky if they get 3.
This division, man, fucking the Chiefs. They play the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos twice, and they're probably 3 of the worst teams in the league.
Chargers, I don't think so. But anyway.
Oh man, we'll get to them.
We'll get to them eventually. But anyway, so there's the shining light here is my pick. I'm just taking Jaleel McLaughlin on all of his overs. I'm going to parlay them.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to take over his touchdowns, over his receiving total, over his rushing total. I don't know what the numbers are yet. I know that the receiving total, I just saw one site that had it at about 96 point something. That to me is just like, that's just disgusting. That's stealing money.
Yeah.
That's stealing money. So
4th string running back. I'm not going to touch it, man.
Get out of here. You're ridiculous. You're the same guy that told me Isaiah Pacheco was a nobody because he was a 7th rounder. So I'm not taking that. Yeah. I'm not believing this. I'm gonna believe the footage, and I'm gonna believe what my gut tells me here, and that's Jaleel McLaughlin, absolute friggin' stud, and he's the silver lining. And by next year, he's gonna be talked about as probably a pick in the top 30,
right,
in fantasy football drafts. That is my prediction for the Denver Broncos. They suck. Their defense is awful. They're gonna win less than 5.5 games, and they're going to put up cumulatively in the entire season. I don't know. I can only see them scoring between 7 and 13 points a game. And I just have a feeling that Jaleel McLaughlin will be a good 1/3 of those points.
All right, man. I salute it.
Yeah, right on. Sometimes we got to take a bold take, but to me, this doesn't even feel bold. To me, this is just my eyes telling me what I'm saying.
Dude, if this hits, I'm fucking clipping the shit out of that.
Yeah, you better. Game 1.
All right, I'm going Bo Nix under 2,800 passing yards.
Okay, I respect that. I do respect that. Whatever his completion total is when that comes out, I would probably take the over on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Over on completions for sure. Under on passing yards.
Yeah. There's going to be a few throws that are going to be minus yards for Bo Nix this year.